Objection!
No, don't say another word. Just stop. Was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with a crime. That's awful. I get that you're getting to the truth of the matter, but to even suggest it without any gentleness or any grace, decorum, or delicacy whatsoever. That can't be. Whoa. Oh, Phoenix is crashing out too. Oh, all right. Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How could you say such a horrible thing? Horrible? Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Sykes moved the mother to the table in order to fix her. I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she did want to make it appear as if it had never happened. And that's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant, and the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt remain unchanged. This just can't be true. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim? Evidence? Right, let's see. I can't think of any. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now, accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough. What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Edgeworth's argument seems solid enough, but there's no way Athena could ever have done anything like that. What do I do? There has to be something, but I can't think of a single thing. Ooh. Ooh. Not on my watch, says Blackwell. This is quite the farce you are conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is your argument is based on entirely false premise. Go on, we're listening. Could this be the miracle I need? What is Prosecutor Blackwell trying to pull here? 7 years. For 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor, and don't think you can alter that fact now. Your boldness, I will take to the stand, and I won't take no for an answer. Of course, Prosecutor Blackwell, please go ahead. Okay. I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes, but when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return, and then I committed the act. Ah, how cathartic it was. But little Ponko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words, I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened. Which would be, she fell, means she fell. Merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body body either, of course, meaning she must have left the room. So the murder occurred after the time period Ponko described in the testimony? You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy. Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot move something? Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself, and she always had Ponko move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved a heavy robot for Athena. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense, yet... Prosecutor Blackwell, are you trying even now to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the dark age of the law to a close today? You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer, beyond redemption. Why don't you let me go so I can settle down into hell? Prosecutor Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out now, it's all over. Are you saying that little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder? That's right. So, let's hear your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't forget I have hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her? Miss Blackwell. Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agree to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of that's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackwell, you selfish... Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict. Is this really happening? Is it really going to end just like it did 7 years ago? I wanted to do, want to do it so bad, even now I want to fly out there and go save him. I can't let this happen. But I just don't have the evidence to counter Blackwell's testimony. Hold it! Athena? What the fuck? You should not be there. Are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear oh, here we go. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Her power might just be the thing to get us through this. Sykes, Dono. No need for you to chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent. These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know. What are you talking about? Do you remember that horrible trial? He didn't kill her. His heart's screaming that he didn't kill her. Even now, every time I stand in a courtroom, it comes back to haunt me. Oh yeah, that did happen. Not being heard, no matter how hard you try. Feeling so helpless. Caught in people's stares, so scared that it feels like your chest is in a vice. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of that door even now. And yet, you found a way to keep your fears at bay and became a lawyer. Thanks. That's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. This day has finally come. The day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. And this is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction. But Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackwell innocent, then the only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. The chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years and to face the truth. Athena is being so brave confronting her past like this. This might really be the last chance. This may be our last chance to save them both. Alright, Titus. Blackwell, testify once more, please, about the time from 7 years ago. Fine. but your efforts will surely be in vain, for I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your art. Okay, before this starts, I need to do something real quick. Right, I went to I went to the Cosmo Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. Okay. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena instead. He's happy here. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. Ah, how cathartic it was. His emotions are very guarded, and his defenses are way up. He steeled his will, as if he'll never let his secrets be known. Oh, I don't know about that. We've got a couple of strong wills on our side too. Prosecutor Blackwell isn't the killer, and we're going to prove it. But what was he trying to do that day? If we approach it from that angle, I bet we could find an emotion that just doesn't add up. If I can save, which I cannot. Oh, I can. The happiness is going to play a part, probably. Leave Bridget alone. And how are you doing? How are you doing, Twilight? This feeling of happiness, even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that? Simple. When I was looking for Athena, I hadn't found her yet. I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. Oh, that was easy. Kinda. Just now you said that you went to the Space Center to kill Dr. Sykes, but the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead? I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. The second I find an inconsistency, he cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. We'll just have to keep chipping in away bit by bit. Update? No update? Oh, update. I was relieved, okay. I would not be told. And when she did, I plunged the katana in. That's changed. Also, the time limit for your server has been chosen and imposed. I will be dipping in a week. Do you not stick around in many's Discord servers? Is that it? That's changed. Not even you can falsify your emotions, Blackwell. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had lain in wait to kill be sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances. Gah! He can't be talking about that, can he? Research. Right, yeah, okay. My objective was to save Athena from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Mr. Wright? How are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. It went up? I've never seen it do that before. Blackwell is lying somewhere in this testimony. As a matter of fact, He's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claims sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world shall I approach this? An evidence-based approach might work if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his motions. There are no flaws in my testimony, and his boldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause and let the law free me of these chains already. I don't think so, not while I'm around. Now, contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions. Which should I tackle first? Alright, I guess it won't matter. I want to look at his emotions a bit more. Okay, let's look for inconsistent emotions. Got it, boss. But if you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. Okay. I heard crying from next door. Of course I was worried. Everything's changing as well. I hurried over and opened the robotics lab. Why are you really surprised? But before I could lead Athena out there, curse my luck, Dr. Sykes came in. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. What are you surprised about there, my friend? Got it. Oh, excuse me. How odd. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab? Alright, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. Dr. Sykes knew full well of my plan to rescue Athena, but she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day. So Dr. Sykes had Ponko do it? That's right, she ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko up with the katana that was there in the lab. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade. Mr. Wright, it's happening again. There's even more noise now. Oh, we're back to 100. Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get rid of the noise at this rate. That's when we should switch to testimony. Evidence-based testimony, at least. With a feeling of dread, opened the robotics door. Then Ponko attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. But didn't you repair it? No, wait, hold on. No, there's blood. Wait, hold on. There's blood stain on the end of the robot's arm. But that would have come from the blood on the katana being stabbed through Metis. So the timing of this makes no sense. I'm going to save real quick, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're going for here. I do not stay in creative service very long. It's lynching and explaining why I'm worried about getting lynched. Well, in fact, get me lynched early. Fair enough. I feel like you've talked about that vaguely before. The lynching thing. Objection! Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. That's the moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see that which damned me for my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this bitch is actually going to be your savior now. See the blood stain at the end of Ponko's arm where it was severed with the katana? I hope you aren't claiming that it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright. No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it, so then it must have been the victim's blood. That's right, but if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko, then you killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be. Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first before the robot was slashed. In other words, Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but one big giant ball of lies. Ooh. Now tell the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell, now. You have no idea what you're doing. His voice, there's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions in there. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something. Oof. He's so angry. Phoenix Wright, you will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave. Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think that whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Oh shit. Ooh, the music. Okay. Following the sound of crying, I open the door, lab door, and then I saw it, that terrible scene. Wait, it says probe, not pinpoint. What did you see? What is causing strong emotions? Athena? When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor? You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Blackwell, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all of my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too? Athena is innocent, huh? Can you honestly say that you believe that to be true, right, Dono? I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door. Curse you, Phoenix Wright! Oh shit, what did we see? It was a tragedy, one I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor. And standing between the two was Athena. Oh wait, there we go. There's the katana. She smiled with a far-off look in her eyes as she sweetly said, "Something's wrong with Mom. It did the thing. What did she say? Something's wrong with Mom. I have to fix her." That's what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her. Who boy? No. Blackwell finally tells the truth that this is what it is? It's beyond devastating. Oh, shit. She doesn't remember. I tried to take my mother apart. I crash out. Oh. Ooh, this case really is something, huh? So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena! As I said, right, the truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but You dare cast aspersions on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Sykes could be awkward with people, but she loved her daughter with all of her heart. She loved me? Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free from your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. That's fine. All right, back to the old one hand on the table technique. Let's get rid of my cuffs. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much? Yeah, my hand hurt every time I wore them. No, Athena, it's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Your power was much stronger then than it is now. And those headphones were... oh, Twilight, behave. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life. No, that can't be true. Then why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much? Her love for you was real. That I can guarantee. That's why I knew that what happened had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. Ponko was a witness, so I put it in the case, held Athena close, and vacated the lab. I threw Ponko away in the boarding lounge trash chute, and I hid the case on the Space Center grounds. It would seem that we now have all of the facts of this case.
Hold it!
No, not yet. It can't end like this. Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back to things that disagree with you? I'm not, but this... I can't give up now. I have to say something. Anything. Even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Mr. Wright. Yes, Athena? It's okay. You can stop now. I want you to I don't want you or anyone else to suffer for any longer for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. Mother, that's the truth. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall? It appears Miss Sykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Sykes this opportunity to confess? Very well. Then if you would please take the stand, Miss Sykes. Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. Blackwell will be cleared, and the dark age of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt and bring everything to its conclusion. I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say, these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument?
Objection!
I will not give up. Not on my life. I do, Your Honor. Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless.
Objection!
Nuh-uh. Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
I said that you never changed, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. We're tackling it. We're doing it. I did a little research. I looked into those special cyclops you mentioned. She isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and memories are sealed off even from herself. There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart, there might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope for everyone's sake that you're not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Sykes' confession? My memory's a little hazy. There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. Like, whoa, come back. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. There was no blood on the handle. It literally specifically says, sometimes you actually have to read what it says in the subtext, because it literally actually says the victim's blood was only found on the blade. The information is all there. Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it. I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of this sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the fact. You're right.
Objection!
The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail. But she also said there's no question I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories means? Gladly. Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone, but she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Excuse me. Think, Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? The blood was wiped off the weapon. No. That's the only one that makes sense, I think. Miss Sykes said blood flowed from the down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So it doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right, of course, you would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How does he do that? But I can't back down now. Not here and not now. That's right, I did. Because it's so obvious it doesn't require any thought. Damn right. Anyway, I have to run because ads, so I'll be back in 3 minutes. Okay, we're back. So what were we reading? You're floundering, Mr. Wright. Well. Did you speak without thinking again? That's right, I did, because it's so obvious it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some other labeled weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something. There was a high probability that that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon in here in evidence right now. Do we not? But I do have a piece of evidence just like it. And other than the katana, this other blade, this is the only thing that makes sense.
Take that!
But that's the murder weapon in the clay Terran case. Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Terran's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this. Oh, right, that toolkit on the floor. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees, and the robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around. Oh, what now? But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know.
Objection!
Oh, of course I knew that, once you told me just now. Then there's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't count any blades. Here is a photo of its contents. You're right, I don't see any kind of labeled tool. Bladed tool, sorry. Fine, but isn't there something odd about the design on these handles? Oh. They're meant to read the logo. Which means that their screwdriver would be at the end. Then so if you label these 1 through 6, where 2 is the missing one, 1 should be where 6 is, 3 should be where 5 is, 4 is in its correct place. And that's it, literally. Anyway. Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room. The knife was disposed of, probably, yeah. I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you, too. Oh, wait. Yes, we have a knife. It's literally there. Yes, so that would be... The knife would be... I'll have a photo of it now. You're the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Now, he's simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Look at the knife again. Does it symbol? Oh, I just did. Yeah. Wait, maybe that should be in the middle then. So yeah, 3 and 2. Well, I can't even look at it. Oh yeah, here we go. So 3 and 2 should be swapped around. I think. Actually, maybe I'm completely wrong. Who knows? Either way, yeah, it should make Gyaxa. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. Ah, I see that they do. But what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit, and if we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics has helped you come up with? Edgeworth, just let it go, man. Just let it go, man. Show the court then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we were to rearrange the tools? Oh, wait, we have it right here.
Take that!
And what design is this supposed to represent? The Gyaxa logo, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. Oh, excuse me. As you're aware, Gyaxa is the program that operates the Space Center. Ah, I think I see it now. But yes, with just the tools shown in this photo. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot. Alright, just like that. It's like magic. It's like magic. It would complete the Gyaxa logo. So it would. Then that means... And admit it, Mr. Edgeworth, my aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it... Admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. Hell yeah, baby. Yeah. Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remembers couldn't be that of Dr. Sykes. Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Huh? Come again? What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? Don't be ridiculous, or are you changing the premise of your entire argument? Anything to suit his needs. I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. Miss Sykes could have put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then concealed the knife on her personage until Blackwell carried her away. She is 11 years old, sir. Does that clear up the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and that does clear up the contradiction between Mrs. Sykes' memories and the evidence? If in fact the murder weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand, for you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic. The prosecution is attempting to lead the court. Nuh-uh, you're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder, and that the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands? No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or utility knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Sykes who killed her own mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes, and the suspicion keeps coming back. It's almost as if... Now you're starting to finally get it. Your contradictions keep vanishing because the charge is true, and the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Mr. Phoenix Wright, when will you open your eyes and accept the truth? Oh, here we go. Crash out. Oh, he's doing the head in hands. He hasn't done that in a while. I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if... Mr. Wright, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No, snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you, giving in to doubt? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor, not yet. It isn't over yet. Mada! I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her. To the very end. A defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case thoroughly. Ooh. Mind Palace, let's go. I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone with the utility knife. This must have been what Ponko witnesses Athena's hug. But Prosecutor Blackwell didn't see the knife at the scene. This means that someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Who could have taken the utility knife from the lab? Well, it must have been someone else. A third person was at the scene. If I trust in Athena, then I have to conclude there was a third person at the scene. But according to Ponko's testimony, Athena and her mother were the only 2 there. So then, how did this third person manage to escape Ponko's detection? I know. This person must have fooled Ponko's facial recognition by covering their face? But wait a minute, Ponko has a heartbeat detection system too. Even if they covered their own face, Ponko would have still detected their presence. But she wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it. The culprit covered their face and posed as which person to avoid detection? If there was only 2 people in the room, then it would be Metis. If the culprit posed as the victim, that would explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. All they had to do was take advantage of Ponko's basic recognition features, which means it's got to be someone who is aware. Don't tell me this whole entire thing is going to boil down to the fact that fucking Aura did it. All I'm saying, it has to be someone who knows how the robots work. The culprit used this in order to pose as the victim. No. The jacket, because of the ID tag. The culprit could have posed as the victim by wearing her jacket with the ID tag in it, but that still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? It would have worked if Ponko could detect the real Dr. Sykes' heartbeat too. So does that mean that the real Dr. Sykes was already dead by that time? If that's the case, then who did Athena stab? The real culprit. Athena stabbed the real culprit. That's it. Wait, hold on. Bam. That's brilliant. I like that. But who? Who? Who could it be? The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit. Now that Mr. Wright has finally finished swimming around in his mind palace, which honestly, I'm pretty sure that Edgeworth has his own mind palace, his logic palace in his own games. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to hostage negotiations. You are absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I hereby... I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second because I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. But now I know for a fact that Miss Sykes is innocent. But Ponko saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime. Yes, Ponko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother. What do you say, Mr. Wright? The answer is simple. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person posing as Dr. Sykes. What?